If one word is enough to ruin your whole day, then you are leased out to whoever says it. Here's the deal about emotional triggers. The emotional trigger is not an outside attack, it's a wound that has been poked. Let's say that you witnessed an argument between mom and dad, right? And the father, let's say, said something really nasty to the mother, okay? And then when you see that situation again, you get triggered immediately, and you might even fight to break it immediately because it's intense. It refreshes the memory that you had, and that's how you have these emotional triggers. And it's understandable. That's how we learn to cope with life. But at the same time, you are reactive to life. And when you are reactive to life, you are passive. When you are passive, it's easy to get lost in the world and look at everything as black and white and just, hateful people here, and no one understands me, and you just fall in this world in solidarity, and basically you are down spiraling and talking down on yourself, on the people around you, and you won't be able to think straight for a while. And so in life we need to take the wheel and steer it, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. First, you need to break the autopilot, the AFK that you get, that something happens and then you react to it in a certain way. Before you react, you need to catch yourself before saying anything. Okay? I will get to defend yourself in situations, because ultimately you need to be one with your shadow. I talked about it in previous videos, you can watch that. But you have to speak the truth some way. But first we need to break the AFK pattern. Okay? Let's say someone said something nasty in the group chat, right? And now you have the urge to defend yourself or send a screenshot to the CEO or whatever, right? What happens here, when you pause, instead of reacting and sending a reactive message in which it turns against you because the whole thing is messy and emotional and then you get fired, you pause for a second, right? You can see it clearly right off the bat. It's in your benefit to apply it today. Pause. All you gotta do is pause. You need to catch yourself during this AFK moment where you need to interrupt the autopilot pattern. When you do that, you get a better clarity about the situation. Maybe she's on her period, right? Maybe his girlfriend just broke up with him and he wanted some kind of fight. And here, when you see what's beyond the mask, what's beyond what they are talking about, right? You then have two choices. You can ignore or you can fight back, depending on the situation. But also during the pause, you will notice that the reaction is trying to say something, right? Maybe you're trying to say, like, this whole place is toxic. Maybe I feel pressured with the people around me. I feel small. Maybe you are afraid of emotional leverage against you. What does the reaction says about you? What does it trigger exactly? When you think of it this way, then you notice your own wounds. Now you solve two problems at once by doing one action. You just pause. You first notice the pattern of the other party and then react accordingly. And also you see your reaction type. What does it say about you? What emotion it triggered in you? Okay? And that's valuable data that you will be able to then do shadow work with and actually improve from inside. You get more peaceful with yourself. But there is an important distinction you need to make in order to make sure this works for you every time. You see, there is a difference between triggers and standards. For example, let's have a girlfriend in a scenario. She says something nasty about your mom, right? She doesn't like her, whatever. Now, when applying standards, you're not being toxic or reacting to toxicity. You just cut it straight out. You say something like, I won't allow you to talk about my mom in that way. That's a standard. It's clear, it's firm, it's calm. There's no wiggle room here. There's no middle ground. While if you do weak defense and reactive in somehow, and you will see the importance of noticing the reaction here. Now, you have the girlfriend saying something nasty and you say shit like, maybe you don't know her well, you'll love her later. Or say something like, yeah, I kind of agree, but I don't think that I don't think like you think, and so let's give it more time. You will change your mind. This is actually an emotional reaction. It's an emotional flinch, and it acts as an invitation to be stepped over. Because now you look easy to manipulate. And why was that bad reaction? Because in that situation, if you stop for a second, you will notice that you are reacting in an emotional way to please the girlfriend that is talking bad about your mom, right? And so when she's talking bad about your mom and you're not being firm, it means that your mom doesn't matter to you. And so you see, it matters that you have firm, calm reaction. And when it's coming from standards and boundaries, you get a lot more respect and a lot more fear and a lot more, you dominate much more. Instead of just trying to keep the peace and, survive the current wave of emotions that's coming through. You cannot float every time. That's not gonna work in adult life very well. And so the earlier you start to practice it, the better you become later on. And so that's how the people you see deal with toxicity with ease. It's not that they don't get flinched or they don't have emotions, but they are in control of their reaction, and therefore they're in control of the whole interaction. And so toxicity is only a problem when your reaction proves it owns you. And that's the only solution to toxicity, is to fix your reaction. You cannot control what people say, but you can control how you react to it. And so freedom is the ability to hold the standard without becoming a slave to reaction. That is it for today. Take care.